Oh, good. For once, you brutes managed to escort a prisoner to me without too many visible bruises. Color me impressed. Sit them down there. You may unshackle their wrists. I doubt some scruffy street urchin poses much threat to me, even with their hands free. Good. You're dismissed. Both of you. Leave us alone together. Did you not hear me? I said, leave us. I trust you don't need reminding how much your Empress hates having to repeat herself. Permit me to sincerely apologize for any rough treatment you may have received at the hands of my underlings. My palace guard is hardly staffed by the brightest or gentlest creatures, I know. But they're quite effective at knocking heads together, so I keep them around. Good help is so hard to find. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I suppose I shouldn't ask you. You don't look like the sort of a person who's ever had a servant. In any case, let's proceed to the reason I summoned you here, to my chambers. Who are you, and what brings you to my domain? Your Empress just asked you a question. If you know what's good for you, you'll answer quickly and truthfully. I'm known for many traits, but patience has never been one of them. Who are you? A strange name. You're from some place far, far away, aren't you? I suspected as much. They tell me you came here stowed away on a whaling ship. They tell me they found you hiding below decks, huddled inside a filthy crate, skulking in the shadows like a rat. Is that true? Are you a rat? Really? Are you quite certain of that? Because you don't look much like a person to me. You look like a frightened little animal, cowering here in front of me. Afraid to do so much as meet the eyes of a woman they can sense instinctively is in every possible respect their superior. Do you know, it was my idiotic advisors who counseled me to have you hauled in from the dungeon for questioning. They were convinced you were a spy in the service of our adversaries. As if anyone would be fool enough to entrust such a delicate role to some timid cretin like yourself. Oh, don't think I don't see that wetness growing in your eyes. Have my words pricked your pride? Have I wounded you? Perhaps you feel as though I'm being needlessly cruel, that I should be more charitable with you, seeing as you're my guest. Well, that's precisely the problem, isn't it? You're not my guest. You're an intruder, an interloper who snuck their way into my empire like a thief in the night, quite uninvited. You're only receiving the degree of courtesy which befits such a person. Yes, You heard me correctly. My empire. Surely you recognize my face. No? Think hard. Is it familiar? Have you seen the stately visage before? Perhaps rendered not in flesh, but in stone, or white marble, or oil paint, on one of the majestic statues or portraits or tapestries lining the walls of this palace. Why there are so many of them? You must have glimpsed one or two as they marched you down the halls. I suppose I can't entirely fault you for not seeing the resemblance sooner. Talented as the many artisans under my patronage age, no artwork in the world could do justice to the real thing. I suppose it would be rather impolite, now that you've introduced yourself, for me not to return the courtesy. I am the Empress of Alia, sovereign and supreme ruler of this realm. All that you have seen since you arrived on these shores, every regal balustrade and balcony, every illustrious jewel and gemstone, every common man and mouse belongs to me. And that includes yourself. My. There is something very amusing about the way you're looking at me. Your eyes burn with fear and confusion. Those emotions I see all the time in the eyes of my subjects. But in your gaze, they're mixed with something else. What is it, I wonder? Some unspoken earnestness? Perhaps a latent, involuntary sense of gratitude that someone as radiant and beautiful as myself is so much as glancing in your direction, let alone speaking to you. That some inconsequential little ragamuffin like you, somehow, some way, through some fickle twist of fate, ended up slouched at the feet of an empress. Or is it desire? Look at you squirm. Do I make you uncomfortable? Not enough to force you to mask your emotions, apparently. Or do you simply lack the self-control to do so? You know how serious your predicament is. You know very well that I could snap my fingers should I have even the slightest inclination, and have you locked away in some deep, dark, tiny hole for the rest of your days. Still, you just can't help it. Your infatuation with me is written all over your face. You're love-struck. Don't worry. I have a weakness for flattery. One of my admitted vices. And I will confess to being a touch flattered. What's more, you've caught me in an unusually generous mood, so I'm inclined to forgive your impudence. That is, if you play your part to my satisfaction. Get up, on your feet. Follow me into the foyer. Sit down in that lounge chair. Yes, you have my permission. Go on. Oh, was that a little whine I heard? Is it really so comfortable? Don't answer that. Of course it is. It's plush velvet. Probably the softest, coziest thing you'll ever sit on. Certainly, I'll bet. It's infinitely more comfortable than the cold, rough, cobbled floor of the dungeon. Let me take a seat next to you. Oh, is that a problem for you? I know it's not a very large chair. It was only built for one after all. I'm so close to you. Why, my body is practically pressing into you. Are you feeling uncomfortable? No, that's the right answer. Of course you aren't. Good, Pat. You know, I was initially planning to bring you up here for a quick chat to appease my advisors, and then throw you back down there. But now, against my better judgment, I'm beginning to think I'd like to get to know you better. There is just something about your demeanor I can't help but be fond of. Even when that demeanor manifests in such a small, pitiful vessel. Would you like to share a meal with your Empress? You look unsure, as though you're wondering if this is all some elaborate trick. It's awfully cute. I'll concede that. But no tricks, no traps. My offer is perfectly genuine. Though of course, no one is forcing you to accept. It's entirely your choice. If you prefer, I can always just call for my man and have them escort you back to that little cell I dragged you out of. And you can dine on whatever maggot-ridden gruel they feed you down there instead. That's what a rat would choose, I suppose. Dining on dirty scraps in the dark. But you said you weren't a rat, right? That's what I thought. But that's not what you need to say. Yes, what? You say, yes, Empress. And try not to stammer next time. Good, Pat. You're a quick learner. You might just have your uses after all. Here, you may finish what remains on that plate. You interrupted me in the middle of my dinner, so there is a fair bit left to eat. Oh no, don't apologize, darling. Though I do appreciate the impulse. That servile tone suits you. I'm glad I had you brought here. Truth be told, I was dreadfully bored before. But now, I have a new plaything. And that's always a delight. Oh, what's that bashful look? Do you not like being called a plaything? Or are you just too shy to admit that you do like it? Either way, you would do well to get accustomed to the title. It's simply the truth. I don't know what backwater you crawled out of, nor do I care. But you're in my world now, and everyone here is my plaything. It's only that some are more treasured than others. However, that need not be a bad thing. I treat my pets well, as long as they play their little roles and keep me entertained. You only have cause to be worried if you disobey me. I confess, I have a bad habit of breaking my toys when they fail to amuse me. Oh, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. I can see I'm putting you off from your dinner. Don't be frightened. There is nothing to fear, as long as you do as I say. Go on, take a bite. You'll love it, I promise. It's braised sunfish with lemon and clover. Only the freshest, juiciest catch from the fishmonger's morning harvest, prepared painstakingly by my personal chefs. That particular specimen would fetch a pretty penny on the market. Come to think of it, it's probably worth a good deal more than any food you've ever eaten. But here you are, enjoying it free of charge, as my treat. There are benefits to sharing the company of the Empress. If you serve me well, you'll come to learn that soon enough. Actually, don't use that fork. Put it down. You probably don't even know how to hold it properly. I doubt someone like you has ever taken any classes in etiquette, after all. Here, let me put my arm around you and bring you close. I'll feed you. Open your mouth. Do I look as though I'm not being serious? Ask me such a stupid question again, and I won't be so forgiving. I said, open your mouth. There we are. Here comes the first bite. Oh, you look so adorable. My pet, eating my food from my fork in my parlor. Close your mouth when you chew, darling. You'll use good manners when you eat at my table, if you don't want to eat your next meal off the floor. Oh, it is so tasty, isn't it? Better than you've had in a long while, I know. Here, let me feed you another. Open your mouth again. It's just delightful watching your expression while you eat. You're so hungry. I can tell you would love nothing more than to tear into that sunfish with both hands and scarf it all down like a rabid animal. But you won't, because you know you have to be a good pet for me. And that means, while you're here, You won't behave like an animal. Unless, of course, I decide I want you to. Do you like me rubbing your back with my other hand? Here, lean in closer. Wouldn't want to spill anything. Have another bite. Do you need something to drink? You must be parched. Have some white wine. I could tell you how rare and expensive this vintage is. But who are we kidding? Someone like you would hardly know the difference. Instead, I will only promise it'll slake your thirst. Ever sipped wine from a crystal goblet before? You don't have to answer that, darling. Let me just raise it to your lips. Drink as much as you like. The whole thing if you want to. The wine should loosen you up a little too. Take care of that trembling in your hands. Don't think I didn't notice that. Your Empress notices everything. Thirsty, aren't you? Oh, careful. Don't let it dribble down your chin. Let me clean you up. Oh, clumsy child, you've stained your shirt. Well, it's not like it was in a very presentable condition to begin with. We'll need to get you something else to wear. And before that, we'll need to have you bathed. No, don't fuss now. You're doing so well. Don't worry. I'll allow you to finish your dinner first. Open your mouth. Here comes another bite. Good, Pat. Oh, I can tell. You're special. You're so eager to please. If only so, it'll earn you more fine silks to recline on, and tantalizing food to eat. But that's not all you like, is it? You like attention from me too, don't you? You like it when I rub your back, and your hair, and when I stroke your cheek. Don't bother being shy and looking away. Your face tells me at a glance all I need to know. You need not to be embarrassed. You're hardly the only one who yearns for my company. That list numbers far too many to ever put to paper. You are, however, one of the rare few to receive that pleasure. I only hope you're capable of appreciating how lucky you are that I've taken an interest in you. Perfect answer. Yes, Empress indeed. You are a quick learner. Until now I was debating in my mind, but I think I've made my decision. I'm going to keep you. You're going to be my new project. Do you know what that means? Of course not. You don't know anything yet. It means I'm going to fill that empty head of yours with so many wonderful things. And if you behave and please me, maybe I'll fill your hands with a thing or two as well. It means I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to have you cleaned up and made prim and proper. And you're going to learn to serve me just as I want to be served. Here, don't speak. Just have another bite. Actually, you will eat it directly from my hands this time. Oh, you look a bit uncertain. Are you reluctant to eat from my fingers? No, of course you're not. There you go. Eat it all. Good. Consider this a microcosm of our future relationship. I will hold you close and feed you the most extravagant treats. And in exchange, you'll be good and loyal and obedient. Does that sound like a fair trade? Oh, come now. That didn't quite sound enthusiastic enough. Convince me. You know, if you won't provide me sufficient cause to be sure of your loyalties, I might just be forced to reevaluate whether or not you're a spy after all. And then... Oh, relax. Calm down. You should hear that shrill desperation in your voice. It's absolutely adorable. I'll have to make you beg more often. But I'm only playing with you, Pat. Don't worry yourself. You're safe with me. I know you'll be loyal. I can tell already. Here, have another bite. Oh my, it's grown quite late, hasn't it? After you finish your dinner, we'll retire. Yes, I said we. You didn't think I would be cruel enough to send you to sleep down in that cell again, did you? No, that's no place for my loyal servant. And that's what you are, isn't it? You'll find your rest here in my chambers. Yes. Now here. Another treat is waiting for you in your Empress hand. Good, Pat. I have so many delightful things in store for you. Ah, there you are. Right in your chair where you belong. Good, Pat. I confess, I fear that you might succumb to your baser instincts, and that you started prowling about after I left you alone. How disappointing it would have been to have to punish you after all the affection I lavished on you earlier. But don't fret. No need for that worried look. You proved you could behave, even when left to your own devices. So there is no cause for disciplining you. In fact, quite on the contrary. I think your good behavior merits a reward. Would you like a reward, my pet? Of course you would. And you'll have one, all in due time. But first, there are a few errands we'll have to see to. I already explained that I would have to have you washed and dressed properly before we retire to bed. Your current attire is hardly appropriate for my servants' quarters, let alone my intimate chambers. You won't make a fuss about being washed, will you? Excellent. That's precisely what I desire to hear from you. Yes, Empress. I particularly love that a little mewling, whining tone your voice takes on when you reply to me. It's so very appropriate for your station. You have the makings of an immensely promising pet. And I do not say that lightly. Follow me now. I'll show you to the baths. I've had one of my maid girls run a nice hot bath for you. I specially instructed her to pour in a generous measure of lavender bath soap. That's the source of all those pretty little bubbles you see foaming at the water's surface. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Isn't the aroma positively intoxicating? Would you believe me if I told you that I routinely have a very particular variant of lavender shipped in at a great expense from one of my colonies across the vast ocean, solely so that it can be distilled into this soap? Sailors risk hundreds of leagues of sea and storm just to ferry it to my palace. Imagine all that sweat and blood and salt expended to simply make your bath maximally pleasurable. Oh, Pat, how sweet of you to say that. But you don't have to thank me. It's only the natural order of things. My empire is a great and sprawling machine. And the single function of that machine is to serve my ambitions, my desires. Not least of those desires is that I and my pets and consorts should want for no earthly luxury. Should you prove yourself and take a more permanent place by my side, you will quickly find that there is no material expense I will spare to see the satisfaction of those I hold closest. Why, this room itself is testament enough to that. Layer upon layer of marble and ivory and glittering gold filigree. It's like something out of one of those old storybooks about a pretty princess who lives in an impossibly splendid castle by the sea. I wonder, standing here now, Do you feel like that, princess? Oh, you look like you're thinking so very hard about how to answer that in a way I approve of. Adorable. Don't worry, Pat. It's only a little joke. Is your Empress not permitted a sense of humor? In any case, please, stop gawking and remove your clothes. Well, what are you waiting for? Did I not make clear that when I issue an instruction, I expect... Wait. Oh. I'm sorry, darling. Shh. No need to explain. I see now by that flustered expression and those fidgeting hands what's really happening here. You don't mean to disobey me. It's just that pesky pride of yours rearing its ugly head again. Here, come closer. Lift your head up and meet my eyes. You're shy, aren't you, Pat? You're too proud to disrobe in front of me. Don't be afraid. You aren't in trouble. In the long run, it would probably be wise to train that bashfulness out of you. But I confess, some part of me does find it ever so cute. And you are new, so... I'll tell you what. I'll permit it. For tonight at least. Here, let me turn around and offer you your privacy for a moment. But, this time, I expect you to obey. Now, take off your clothes and get in your bath. Good, Pat. Oh no, don't shrink away from me. Don't fret. Don't try to cover yourself. I promise no one can see a thing beneath all those bubbles. See? Your Empress isn't such a cruel mistress, is she? I'm not unwilling to indulge your little insecurities if I must. I don't even mind so much, as long as they don't keep you from playing your role. Was that a little sigh I heard just now? Low-born folk always smelled at the slightest taste of luxury. It's really very endearing. Don't try to stifle it. I want to hear every little murmur you make. Close your eyes and let that warm water envelop you and sweep all your cares right off your shoulders. It looks so comfortable. I'm almost tempted to join you in there. What do they bathe in wherever you're from, I wonder? Some tin basin full of stale dishwater? Do they even bathe at all? You don't have to answer that. Raise those arms so I can begin scrubbing them. Was that a look of surprise? You didn't think I would just leave you alone to bathe yourself. Whatever put such a silly notion in your head? Let me ask you a question, and think hard before you answer. If you took a mangy stray dog into your house from out in the rain, would you leave him to bathe himself? No. Why not? Good, Pat. Exactly right. Because he doesn't know how to do it properly. He would only make a mess. Now, raise your arms. I'll just scrub ever so gently with this sponge. Oh, it is a pleasant sensation, isn't it? Your little purrs say more than words ever could. See, you would have splashed and thrashed around like the rough creature you are. You don't know the first thing about using a gentle touch. But that's alright. That's why I'm here. Up and down. Slow strokes. You may close your eyes again if you like. Now for your hair. Let me rub a little soap into your scalp and work up a nice lather. There. Doesn't that feel nice? Have you ever washed your hair with soap before? Do you wash it at all? Frankly, I think I can surmise the answer from the state of it. We'll have to bring my barber in to see to that sometime. But one problem at a time. Can't turn a scruffy little rat into a gentle person all in one full swoop. It has to be done bit by bit. Every little filthy inch scrubbed squeaky clean, one at a time. What was that? What did you say? Don't lie to me. Don't ever lie to your Empress. You said something just a moment ago, under your breath. Ever so softly, but I heard it all the same. What was it? Nothing. I will give you one last chance to tell me of your own volition. That's what I thought you said. Listen to that desperate little wail creep back into your voice. It's like you know how great of a misstep you've made. And you would do absolutely anything to take your words back. But it's too late. I heard quite clearly what you said. I'm not a rat. That's what you said, isn't it? Answer me. Yes, yes it is. Lift your head up. Look into my eyes when I speak to you. You are whatever I say you are. And you would do well to remember that before so flippantly contradicting your benefactress. Anyway, You will earn your place here, one way or another. For now, go on and finish cleaning yourself as best as you can. I'll be waiting in my bed chamber when you're finished. Then, I'll decide what to do with you. Oh, hello, darling. You spent an awfully long time in the bath after I left. I was growing worried. I see you slipped into those silk night clothes I left for you. You look very dashing in them. I don't know how well you can see by the dim candlelight, but I procured a set for you that matches my own nightgown. Isn't that sweet? Oh no, please don't shy away. I'm not angry with you anymore. I promise. Come over here and join me. Please. Aww. Here. You have my permission to lie down on my bed beside me. No need for all those stammered words. I know you must be eager to apologize, but you can calm down. It's all right. I've had time to reflect, and I realize I was much too harsh with you before. Oh, poor thing. You flinched when I reached out to touch you just now. You're afraid. Afraid I'll hurt you again. I won't hurt you. I promise. Let me just put my arms around you and bring you in close. I want to speak to you about what happened in the bath. Empress was so proud of you for behaving so well, and for learning your manners so quickly. But when you made that little remark, she just lost her composure. She thought you were being a brat, after all the hard work she put into helping you. But you're not a brat, are you? You're a good pet. Yes, you are. I understand now that you didn't mean to talk back and upset me. You were only defending yourself from what sounded like a cruel jab. But even though my anger has faded, the lesson remains. Do you know what that lesson is? I know you're frightened, darling, but please try not to stammer. It's so hard to understand you when you do. Would it help to soothe your nerves if I ran my hand through your hair? You seemed to enjoy that before. Alright then. The lesson you will need to learn is that when I tell you something, even something about yourself you don't think is true, you do not argue. Try to understand. I don't tell you these things to hurt or humiliate you. I tell them to reveal to you The disparity between what you are and what you need to become. I speak with love, and always for your own good, even if my words seem cruel. Does that make sense? Oh, you're still frightened. You're trembling, and you look as though you're on the verge of tears. Poor thing. Let me hold you tighter. Will that make you feel more secure? I can only imagine how you felt, cowering in your bathwater after I left. Terrified you had displeased me. And it was only a matter of time until I came to strip away all these pretty things I've given you and cast you back to the depths of the dungeon like a discarded toy. But I won't do that, my sweet. I promise. You're safe here with me. You'll spend the night sharing my soft, inviting bed. Let me pull the covers over you and let you get all snug and warm. Doesn't that feel cozy? Here, maybe this will help take your mind off of things. I promised you a treat for being a good pet earlier, and I haven't changed my mind about that. In fact, I think you need reassurance of my affection for you now, more than ever. Turn your head and look into my eyes. My. Our faces are so close together. I quite like that. I want you to kiss me. You heard me correctly. Surely you didn't think that my favorite plaything spent all day lounging around, nibbling on expensive fish and taking bubble baths. Did you? Of course, there's plenty of that to be had. Don't misunderstand me. But what I treasure most from my toys is their companionship. I want to mold you into my ideal confidant, keeper of my nightly whispered secret, my source of comfort and affection after a strenuous day of statecraft, war, and intrigue. Even, perhaps, if you prove to be a very good pet, my lover. Oh, I wish you could see your eyes right now. They're white as saucers. From that look of shock, you would think I had just told you you were going to be executed tomorrow morning. Fret not, pet. That's all a matter for the days to come. We need not discuss your more, intimate responsibilities tonight. I promise I won't press any of that on you before you're ready. All I offer tonight is a little kiss. Nothing more. I hope my embrace has calmed your nerves a bit. Here, I'll guide you. Don't worry. Just close your eyes, lean forward, and you're a little clumsy. I don't suppose that you've had any great deal of experience. But that's no worry. You're eager to please. And that's all I need. You'll learn. Let me cup your cheek with my hand. Next time, tilt your head a bit to the side. When our lips meet, don't be afraid to press closer. You won't hurt me. And then, let my tongue slip past them. That was delicious. Good, Pat. Your lips are so soft, and your mouth is so warm and wet and alluring. I almost couldn't bring myself to part from you. I hope you didn't mind my wandering tongue. I know some find that particular technique a little strange, but I'm quite fond of it, and I couldn't resist. Tell me, what does it feel like to kiss an empress? Blissful. Color me impressed. That was a perfect response. Good, Pat. Do you know what that word means? Or did you merely pick it up from me? Oh, never mind. I don't care. You're doing so well it doesn't matter. I'm sorry that I doubted you. And I'm sorry I was so callous with you before. You just needed a little time and patience. That's all. Kiss me again. Rest your head in my arms. Let me cradle you. You are my perfect little pet. I can see that now. And you'll grow to see it too, in the coming days, as we train you and prepare you for all that will be required of you. You'll see that wretched little creature that arrived on my shores fade away and be replaced by something warm and soft and beautiful. A proper regal pet fit to sit at the side of an empress. But that can all wait until tomorrow. For now, just nestle close and close your eyes. Sweet dreams, darling. A good long bath always does wonders to cool my temper after a particularly strenuous day. Ah, and I see you've woken up, pet. Excellent. I might have asked you to join me as I bathed, but I didn't wish to rouse you. You always look so perfectly serene when you slumber. Your little chest rising and falling ever so slightly. What wild dreams make their way into that little head of yours when you sleep, I wonder. I think I can imagine. My apologies for returning to our bedchamber at such a late hour. I hope I didn't give you cause to worry. Today's proceedings unfortunately dragged on for an excessively long time. But they are finished at last, and your Empress is ready to join you for bedtime. Go on, move over a little, and make room for me. Good, Pat. Here, allow me to reward my pet's obedience with a little kiss on the forehead. Yes, let me wrap my arms around you and draw you in. Just like that. Cuddling you was such a pleasure. I've been yearning for this feeling all day. You simply can't imagine how torturous it was for me today. Having to sit on the throne, wrapped up in all that stuffy finery, and suffer through hour upon hour of tedious diplomatic round tables, when I wanted nothing more than to slip into this nightgown and slink back to my chambers, these velvet sheets, and my favorite pet's loving embrace. Alas, all of us have our responsibilities to attend to. Your Empress most of all. Oh, I appreciate your polite interest in the details of my day, Pat. But don't fret over it. It's none of your concern. The minutiae of all that complicated statecraft and negotiation would only bore you. You would never be able to wrap your little mind around such intricate matters. And besides, the business of my court is often quite serious. I fear it would be too much for a soft, sensitive little thing like you to hear about. Oh no, don't look so disappointed. Oh, how can I say no to that little pout and those irresistibly cute puppy eyes? Very well. If you're truly so curious, I'll indulge you. Today's meetings were between myself and a certain High Lord from the East. This lord has been quite vocal in his belief that the Crown's new slate of taxes on naval imports are very unjust, and he has come to the imperial court to demand certain concessions. If I don't submit to those demands, he's threatened a blockade on our eastern ports. He mistakenly believes that his possession of a few god-forsaken spits of barren rock and this castle or two gives him adequate leverage to demand anything of me. Oh, I only wish that I could be in attendance when the royal fleet encircles all his pathetic war-eaten little ships like a great iron fist, and smashes them all to splinters in a hail of cannon fire. Like most nobles, he's a very proud man. He wore the most infuriatingly arrogant little smirk during our negotiations this morning, as though he really believed he had the upper hand. It would be nothing short of a privilege to be present, to see that smirk melt into cold despair, as he watches his livelihood burn and sink into the arbor. And it dawned on him, far too late, that he should not have tempted the wrath of his Empress. In my mind, I can already hear those wails, those shrill pleas for mercy and clemency. Delectable. Proud men never stay proud to the end. Did you know that, pet? That's something I've been taught quite well by all the poor fools I had to bend and break over the course of my tenure as the Empress. Sure, they put up a nice facade of bravery, but like all the rest, they're soft and squishy and vulnerable on the inside once you crack them open. Even the proudest men fall to their knees and whimper and beg like animals once they see the Reaper's sickle on the horizon. I prefer honest men, and honest pets too. Pets who forego the delusion of pride from the start. Good pets like you, who know their place, who don't try in vain to puff themselves up to seem big and strong and brave, when they're actually small and weak and cowardly. Oh no, I'm sorry, Pat. I can see by that wetness in your pretty eyes and your quivering lip that I'm only frightening you with my passion, my ferocity. Oh, I told you all that serious talk would be too much for you to handle. I'm sorry I scared you. Here, no more of that. Just nestle into my arms, let me run my fingers through your hair and soothe you. You may cry if you're feeling too overwhelmed. I don't mind. I've grown quite fond of your soft heart, and how easily you are moved to tears when you're scared or confused. You need not to be embarrassed. It's quite endearing how tender you are. Let's change the subject to my favorite little subject. Tell me about your day. What was my darling pet up to while their mistress was away, I wonder? Nothing naughty, I hope. Oh no, don't worry. I was only being playful. I know you're much too loyal and well-behaved to do anything I wouldn't approve of. You're a good pet. Isn't that right? Of course you are. That's why your Empress loves you. If only all the rebellious little worms, spoiling my big, beautiful world, could be as demure and soft and pliable as you. Maybe my crown wouldn't be quite so heavy a weight to bear sometimes. But having you around to be affectionate within the late hours of the day makes dealing with all of that rabble each morning so much easier. There, nuzzle into my neck. I know you would never betray me. It's true that you aren't a product of one of those fancy academies that spawned all of these worthless lords and ladies who clutter up my court. But nonetheless, you somehow know one thing they never truly learned. You know that all you have, your food, and your bed, and your clothes, and your life, you owe all of that to your Empress's generosity. And you see, likewise, that all that she has so magnanimously given you, she can strip away just as easily. Isn't that right? Oh, I do so enjoy that mewling whine in your voice when you say, "Yes, Empress," as though you're frightened you'll upset me and earn a punishment if you don't agree with me meekly enough. So keen to be submissive. But how could you be another way? I raised you up from nothing after all, didn't I? Plucked you from the gutter and put the most savory food in your mouth. Draped the most luxurious clothes around your shoulders. Lavished on you my warmest affections. You would have to be the most ungrateful sort of a creature to be anything but perfectly servile when speaking to the women who handed you the world on a silver platter. How fortunate for us both that you're a good pet instead. I can feel your heart beating fast through your chest. It always quickens its pace when we lie together, doesn't it? It's admittedly flattering. The effect hearing my teasing words and being close to me clearly has on you. You're so completely, unashamedly in love with me. It's adorable. Here, you may place your hand on my chest. I want you to feel something. Do you feel the beating of my heart? You ought to feel it distinctly. I'm hardly wearing much beneath my nightgown. In fact, I'm not wearing anything beneath it. Oh, there's that shy look again. Did you not realize that a little measure of thin silk was all that separated our bodies? No, don't take your hand away. When I give you permission to touch me, you need not to be reluctant. If it helps, Remember that being affectionate with me is as much a duty as it is a privilege. And I need not remind you what I expect when I order you to do your duty. Speaking of your duties and privileges, I've been meaning to commend you on your progress with our little kissing lessons. You were so inexperienced to start off, but you're becoming quite a natural. And I don't need to tell you that's high praise, coming from someone with lips as discerning as my own. Tonight, I'd like to continue your instruction and teach you a new trick. Do you recall that when I kissed you for the first time, I made use of my tongue in a certain way? I'd like for us to do that again. Only, this time, it'll be your tongue doing the honors. Aww. No need to speak. I can tell you're nervous. I told you, none of your little fits and fidgets escape my Empress's notice, didn't I? It's quite alright. I know very well how prone to anxiety my good pet is. Don't fret. You're safe as long as you listen and obey. Let me guide you. Here, I'll cup your cheek. Do you like the feeling of my warm hand on your face? It's fresh from my bath, and ever so soft, I know. If you inhale, you can still smell the lavender. Let me bring your head up, tilt it a little to the side, and... Exquisite. I've been hungering for your lips pressed against mine all day. Another. Perfect. I almost can't bear to part from that warm and inviting mouth of yours. But I would hardly be a very good teacher if I skipped over the crux of the lesson. Now allow me to demonstrate the proper technique. Did you feel how my tongue snaked in past your parted teeth and met your own? Did you feel me press my way into your mouth and take claim over what's mine? Everything in this world is about power, you know, in one way or another. Even matters of the bedroom. Especially matters of the bedroom, if we're being perfectly honest. But one of the more enjoyable aspects of wielding great power is allowing those beneath you to play at wielding it as well. Even if it's only play. So... you have my permission, pet. I will kiss you again. And when I do, Do just as I did. Slip that tongue next to mine. Excellent. You're as quick of a learner with kissing you as you are with everything else. Color me impressed. But my star pupil isn't finished yet. Practice makes perfect, as they say. You're awfully eager with that tongue. I love it. Don't be afraid to be a little more forceful. I promise you won't offend me. Think of me as a fearsome lioness, playing with a poor, helpless, lost lamb. Though my prey might put up a pitiful fight in my mouth, nothing you do can ever truly threaten me. When my little lamb plays aggressive, it merely makes devouring them all the more amusing. Good pet. For a sweet, frail little lamb. You do have more than a bit of vigor in you, after all. And I love the way you stroked my hips just now. Your touch is clumsy and unpracticed. But nevertheless, those eager fingers feel divine, caressing my skin like that. How did a rough little beast like you come to possess such soft fingers? I think I can find one or two other excellent uses for them. But perhaps another night, one lesson at a time. Oh, that was perfect. I need a break. I don't want to spoil my enjoyment by gorging myself on this delicious meal we're sharing together too quickly. I only hope my good pet enjoyed their lesson as much as their Empress did. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that, pet. Your honeyed words make even a mighty lioness feel a little tender inside. Here, come press in close to me. Let me cradle you. Good pet. You're doing ever so well in your new role. I hope you realize that. I can hardly believe it was only a short while ago that you were just another unremarkable gutter rat. And now, look at you, my prized pet. You've come so far, though you still have a long way to go. Our little lesson has whetted my thirst. Would you like a drink as well? I saved a little something for us to share. Let me rank one of my servant girls. You there, girl. There is an ice box in the foyer. Bring me the bottle inside and a pair of glasses. Quickly now. What are you gawking at? I gave you an instruction, girl. Are you new? Do you not know where the foyer is? Oh. You're looking at my bedmate. Don't lie to your Empress. You were looking at them. If you'd like to keep your position, I advise you to stop looking at them like that. They are my companion, and they're thus far none of your concern. Do I make myself clear? Excellent. Apology accepted, darling. But don't make me wait any longer. Good girl. You're dismissed. Sorry about that, Pat. Some of my servants still don't know their place. Anyway, oh, you'll love this wine. I had it brought up from the cellars just for us. Let me sit up for a moment and pour you a glass. There we go. A generous serving for my favorite plaything. As a reward for scoring such brilliant marks in their lesson today. Oh, the servant girl. Don't mind her. She must be new and unacclimated to my usual standards of decorum. I hope her staring at you in this state didn't upset you, my sweet pet. I know how sensitive you are. Perhaps you're too shy to bear the thought of a stranger seeing us entangled in one another's arms. Adorable. Oh. Could you really not tell? Your inexperience continues to amuse me. That was interest she was looking at you with. My servant girls are expressly forbidden from entertaining amorous relationships because of certain past incidents. As a result, most of them are sadly more than a bit lonely. And I don't often invite non-aristocratic company. So when she saw you lying there in my arms, freshly washed and dressed in that dashing silk, and cast in flattering candlelight, I suppose you seemed a little enticing to her. My, this wine is so rich. I've already nearly finished my glass. No shame in having another one, I suppose. Though, I hope you didn't feel anything untoward about her. Sure, she was young, and lithe and pretty. All my servant girls are. But you are mine. And an empress doesn't share her toys with servants, any more than a lioness shares her prey with the jackals. Why, if I caught you slinking off with one of those little tarts without my permission, you would regret ever. But we need not to worry about that. You wouldn't have a dalliance with some servant and risk displeasing your empress. You're my good pet. I know that sort of crass disloyalty is the furthest thing from your mind. I'll have to personally express my thanks to the vineyard keeper. This wine is nothing short of sublime. And besides, even if you had a real connection with one of those girls, perhaps, if I were in an extraordinarily generous mood, something could be arranged. I would have to be present for the tryst, of course. That's absolutely essential. I won't permit that sort of thing without my involvement, but... Oh, what am I saying? Forgive me. The wine has gone straight to my head. Ignore my drunken rambling. I don't know what wild place my wandering tongue has dragged me off to. I do know where that wandering tongue belongs, though. Here, let me serve you a little wine. I don't mean to hoard it all for myself. No, put your hand back on my hip. You know very well you're not to hold it yourself. You're so clumsy you'd probably only split all over your clothes and humiliate yourself. And we wouldn't want that. I'll hold your glass for you. Sit up and let me raise it to your lips. There. Drink your fill. Let it warm your tired nerves, even though it's ice cold. Finished? Would you like me to let you drink another glass? No. Alright. Well, this night has been splendidly refreshing. I almost hated to rest so soon. But unfortunately, imperial business awaits in the morning, and I require some sleep. But another day will bring another night. We'll have plenty of time to spend with each other in the coming weeks. There are so many wonderful things I have in store for you, Pat. But I'm loath to spoil the surprise. For now, rest. Nuzzle into me. Fall asleep in my arms. You are my perfect loyal pet. Good night. Dream of me. Hello? Where are you, Pat? You'll be pleased to learn I've returned to you early. My meeting with those half-witted barons concluded mercifully ahead of schedule. I've been looking all over my chambers for... Oh no. Is that you there, Pat? What are you doing all alone on the balcony? And in this dreadful storm? Why, it's raining buckets out there. And you're not even wearing a cloak. You're still dressed in your house clothes. You must be soaked to the skin. Here, let me open the door. Hurry inside, quickly. What happened? What do you mean? I know you can't help your chattering teeth, darling, but try not to stammer. I can hardly understand you over this howling rain to begin with. Yes, of course I know how my pet enjoys going outside on the balcony for a little fresh air most mornings. So you're telling me that you stepped outside earlier, and then What happened? Someone closed the balcony door and latched it by mistake. Oh no, poor thing. You've been locked out here, in the midst of this horrid downpour, into these blistering storm winds. One of the servants must have seen the balcony door ajar and latched it, not realizing that you were outside. I ordered them to leave you alone as not to interrupt your special meal, since I could see how hungry you were this morning. Doubtless, they obeyed me and left our chambers after securing the door, so they could hardly hear you calling for help. You must have been trapped for at least an hour, perhaps longer. How positively awful. No wonder you're shaking and shivering like some poor defenseless rabbit caught in the eye of a blizzard. This rain must have chilled you to the bone. And though water is running down your scalp in rivulets, it's utterly ruined your beautiful hair. This is just terrible. I can't bear to think of how you must have felt cowering all alone out here for so long. With those baleful winds and this unrelenting torrent of stinging raindrops beating down on your shoulders and soaking every inch of you. But don't fret. I'm here now. Empress is here to rescue her good pet. Take my hand. That's it. I've got you. Oh, but wait. I'm afraid I can't allow you to step inside in this condition. Your clothes are so cold and wet and clammy. You would think they'd been pilfered from a shipwreck. I can't let you drip dirty rainwater all over my polished wooden floors. And besides, you're liable to catch a deathly chill if you stay in those wet garments. And we wouldn't want that. Take them off. Yes, all of them, Pat. Your underclothes will have to go as well, I'm afraid. They're no doubt as wet as all the rest. But don't worry. Your mistress hasn't forgotten how shy you are about undressing before her. I'll respect your modesty and close my eyes. When you're finished, take this towel here and dry off, and then wrap it around your body to cover yourself. There we are. Good, Pat. Quick as ever to follow instructions. Don't fret. I'm not looking. Finished? All right. I'm sorry. I know how you chafe at being like this before me. That little humiliated look in your downturned eyes is adorable. But I promise that this is only for your own good. Here, take my hand again. Let me lead you into the drawing room. There's a good pet. How fortunate that the fire is already stoked and roaring, ready to press the warmth back into your chilled muscles and sinews. But after what you've endured, you'll need more than just a distant flame to warm you. You require a more intimate warmth. Here, let me sit down on this armchair, and you may sit on my lap. I'll draw the soft, heavy satin blanket over both of us. Let its folds envelop you. Don't you already feel so much better? Dry and out of those awful drenched clothes? Wrapped up snug and tight in the soft fabric? The lapping flames of the fire embracing you from without, while the warmth of my body cradles you from within? No need to speak, Pat. Your teeth are still chattering from the cold, and it's difficult to understand you. But your little purrs of contentment tell me all I need to know. Oh, I just can't believe such a trifling mistake led to this. How horrible. A poor thing. Let me bring my hands to stroke your hair. You're quite fond of me doing that, aren't you? Wrap your arms around me. Nestle in close. You're safe now, I promise. No more cold wavelets of rain. No more ear-splitting thunder and hideous lightning streaking across the sky. None of those frightening things can reach my good pet within their safe, soft blanket. Focus on your Empress's gentle hands patting your head. Focus on embracing her nice, warm body. Relax. Is that a shy smile I spy creeping onto your trembling lips? It is such a relief to be home and back in my arms again, isn't it, Pat? As we recline here, would you like something to drink? Something hot, fierce, and fiery, perhaps, to warm you yet further? I know just the thing. Let me ring for a servant. Girl, fetch a cup of tea for my companion here, and remember to add a pinch of sugar and a spoonful of honey. I want this drink to be especially sweet on their tongue. They deserve it after the day they've had. Poor thing. Hurry along now. Good girl. My. What was that, Pat? Did you think I wouldn't notice you hiding your head beneath the cover of your blanket as my servant approached us? Your Empress notices everything, as I often remind you. Not that you were being particularly subtle. Why ever did you do such a silly thing, I wonder? Are you embarrassed to be seen like this? In this weakened, exposed state you find yourself in, sitting here in my lap? Surely you know that she can't see you, whether or not you try to hide. Or was that a little retreat beneath the covers not a conscious choice on your part, but rather the work of base instinct? Perhaps it's just in the nature of rats to try to burrow down deep in the shadows when they feel vulnerable. That is, after all, how you arrived on these shores in the first place, if memory serves. Skulking in a box in the dark. Perhaps such soft-hearted behavior merely comes naturally to someone like you. Oh, what's that hurt look all of a sudden? What's that fresh wetness in your eyes? Oh, I see. I called you a rat again, didn't I? I know how it so badly wounds your pride when I do that. But you simply must understand. It's very difficult to resist calling a creature what they so plainly are. It's so hard to pretend you're anything but a little rat. Scared and confused and helpless. When a few teasing words can make you writhe and squirm nervously against my body like that. If only you could feel the desperation with which your little paws cling to me as shame was inside you. If only you could do that, you would see the wisdom in my words. Oh, no need to apologize. I'm hardly upset with you. It's folly to be upset at an animal for acting in accordance with their nature. And I know very well by now what sort of a timid animal you are. Though, I will confess, it is a touch amusing to watch you now behaving so demurely and being so delightfully submissive after your little tantrum at breakfast this morning. Oh, bad. If only you could see how wide your eyes just grew. Fear looks so very adorable on you. You didn't think I'd forgotten your insolent behavior towards me this morning, did you? How you protested when I ordered you to your bath. How you looked at me with that laughable righteousness in your eyes. As though I was being so utterly unfair with you. No, don't fret. I'm not vexed with you anymore. As I said, I'm merely amused. You were so confident this morning now, smiling and holding your head high, in good spirits, stuffing your mouth with tasty tarts. You looked every little bit the pompous little royal. You certainly had no problem speaking with my servant girl, and looking in her eye then. And now look at you, cowering, clutching in my body with trembling, anxious hands under your blanket. Frightened even to allow that same servant to see your face. I wonder what turned my pretty little royal back into this wretched rat. No stammering now. Save your words. I know what happened. You dread the thought of her seeing you like this. I admit, you've looked almost dignified these last few days, as all the hours I've lavished on preening and primping you have yielded their fruit. Strutting around my chambers in your dashing doublet, with those little bands of gold I gifted you, glimmering on your fingers. Each day you've looked less a stowaway, and the more sovereign's consort. How dismaying it was for me when I began to realize that pretty coat of paint I so painstakingly layered over your ugly underbelly was beginning to give you delusions of independence. And yet, they would have required all those dozens of hours of tedious work expended to make you presentable. Observe that I hardly took the slightest sliver of effort to wash it all down the drain. A few buckets of filthy rainwater to scour the gel from your hair and strip those beautiful clothes off you. And my spell was broken, leaving you here before me as what you truly are. The small, wet, helpless thing hiding away from the world under their blanket, like a frightened animal, clinging shamelessly to their mistress's bosom, at once desperate for her affection and approval, and terrified of her wrath. Oh my, I wonder what that servant girl would think if I tore that blanket off and bared you to her gaze. I wonder what you would do. Crawl down under the chair, perhaps? Or beneath the floorboards? Oh, calm down. Spare your pleading, Pat. It was only a joke. I'm not that cruel. Don't fret. I promise you're safe under there. I won't take away your blanket, or what remains of your dignity. I actually feel quite sorry for you, having to learn your lesson like this. But you must know that you've brought this all upon yourself. I did warn you that teaching you your place wouldn't always be a pleasant affair. I can see you're feeling very tender right now. It's all right. Let me rub your back and soothe you. There. Doesn't that feel nice? I so enjoy the feeling of your bare skin under my soft palms. No, don't flinch. You aren't going anywhere. Just let me caress you. There you are, girl. What took you so long? Hand me the teacup. Oh, my companion. Their little whimpers tug at one's heartstrings, I know. But I assure you, they're quite all right under there. They're merely embarrassed to have you see them in such a compromising position. That's all. Good girl. You're dismissed. You may bring your head out from under there, Pat. She's gone. Here, let me serve you your tea. There you are. Open your mouth and sip. Delicious, isn't it? Oh, you're very welcome, Pat. And what a delicious serval tone you used to say, "Yes, Empress," just now. Color me impressed. I almost thought you had forgotten how to address me properly, with all your brashness in these last few weeks. But now, I see you just needed a little reminder. Perhaps you'll always need a little reminder of what you are, every now and then. A few drops of proverbial rainwater drizzled down your back to keep you humble. That's perfectly alright. I'm quite willing to do what I must to properly train you. I care very deeply for you, Pat. I hope you know that. You're my very favorite plaything. And even if you sometimes give me cause to be harsh with you, my affection for you is undiminished. In fact, it's that very affection that moves me to administer such lessons to protect you from your own worst impulses. I so dread to see my precious Pat debase himself by slipping into disobedience and disarray. I only want what is best for you. You know that, don't you? Thank you, Pat. I knew you would come to understand the method in my treatment of you after all was said and done. Here, perhaps a little kiss will help remind you of the depth of my love for you. Oh, you liked that, didn't you? Here, take another sip of tea and look into my eyes. Don't be afraid. I'll remind you, you're not being punished anymore. And I am no longer at all angry with you. You are safe now, here in my arms. I know with certainty that you'll be a good pet for a long while after tonight. I confess, your little whines and whimpers half stirred my heart. I'm not without mercy. Shall we retire to bed early tonight, so that my pet can rest and recover after the ordeal they put themselves through today? I'll give you an especially gentle and loving bath tonight. The warm water will nurse your aches and pains. After that, we'll adjourn to our bed for your nightly lessons in affection. And I promise my tender touch and careful hands will make you forget about all this ugly business. Don't worry, I'll permit you to wear your night clothes to bed. I won't keep you like this, tempting as it would be to do so. Oh, it's all right. No need to sputter. I understand you're a touch overwhelmed. You need time to recuperate. We can stay like this as long as you desire. Just close your eyes and nestle in. Feel the beating of my heart so very close to your own. You are warm and safe and loved here in your Empress's arms. You wandered away from me on your path for a brief moment. That's all. The important thing is that I found you before you strayed too far and reined you in. I brought you back to your rightful place. And not a moment too soon, I think. There is more than one storm lurking on the horizon, Pat. I do not doubt that you have felt the change in the air. Loyalties shift like quicksand beneath our feet. Once hushed whispers in the dark, and winding streets below us grow even louder. Momentous times await my empire. The hour is fast approaching when I will require your company and confidence of my faithful servant out in the world, beyond the confines of this chamber. When a mistress and pet must, of necessity, uncover parts of one another so far kept hidden, and open ourselves to a more raw and complete intimacy between our minds and between our bodies. That is why I must be so firm and forceful with you in your training. When that hour arrives, your allegiance must be unwavering. But do not be afraid, Pat, because your Empress has no fear for you. She knows though you stray, you will stay the course in the end. You are mine, aren't you? You belong to me, do you not? Are you not my loyal pet and plaything, forever and always? Good, Pat.